What's going on, everybody? Nan here, and it's an interesting sea change in what we've seen from the Pokemon Company. So, for the first time in probably 18 months, we have reprints of regular Elite Trainer boxes. So, we have Surging Sparks and Twilight Masquerade. And I'll just bring this picture up here. We got our first cases in the warehouse today. And as you can see here, these are SV06, which is Twilight. There is no not for retail sale before was it May 2024. So this is in fact a reprint. Now, what we've seen with Prismatic Evolutions ETBs is they are everywhere. They're in Costco, they're in Sam's, I should say. They are attempting to set foot in Costco and Sam's. They're obviously being bought out almost immediately. So that really started, I really started to ask the question, did they just reprint this many in the first wave? Is it truly a reprint? And quite honestly, where did the reprint capacity come from? So I want to address this because this is really, really different. And if we look at the reprint strategy for this year, we started with a ton of booster bundles coming, and it was booster bundle, booster bundle, booster bundle. Then we got some light reprints of booster boxes. Then all of a sudden we got all these EX boxes, which seemed to start really in the May-June timeframe. And, again, a lot of them aren't out yet, but we've gotten Blooming Waters, which presumably took the place of what they were printing for Sea and Sky for Crown Zenith. And we have all these now 5x5 packs, or 5x5, which are 10-pack EX boxes where there's 5 packs of 2 different sets. So now all of a sudden, we have all the Prismatic Evolutions, and we were getting 151 posters and ancillary stuff and binders, I think, to some extent. But with Prismatic, we were getting poster after poster after poster. Surprise. I mean, we just had another Walmart drop tonight with almost 200,000 surprise boxes, which I don't even know why they're printing those, and poster collections, 180,000 or something like that. So they're printing a ton of ancillary items, but I want to focus on the Elite Trainer box. So again, we haven't seen ETB reprints really since Crown Zenith, Silver Tempest. I don't remember if SV Base got some ETB reprints with their reprint, and this would have been January, February 2024. But now we've gotten 3 different ETBs reprinted. Presumably, I mean, we don't officially have a confirmation that Prismatic Evolutions was reprinted, but we're 99.9% certain. And now we have these 2 with the labels that we can see that are obviously reprinted. So I want to take you guys back to a conversation that I had in May, and there was a Pokemon offsite with distribution, and the conversation was really around print capacity and when things were going to free up, and effectively more supply was going to come in the market. So the too long didn't read of the discussion, and again, I heard the secondhand was we, the Pokemon Company, are not going to be able to ramp up print capacity in a meaningful way until Q1 of 2026, where some of our obligations start to roll off. Because again, Millennium Print Group is a wholly owned subsidiary of the Pokemon Company. However, it does have its own independent for-profit business that is outside of printing Pokemon cards for the Pokemon Company. That being said, the European print entity owned by Millennium in the Netherlands, they started a massive expansion in 2022, and that recently finished up. So they had added print capacity in the Netherlands earlier this year, where they had started to print booster boxes for all the SV sets, but really have them all printed in the Netherlands. So what I mean by that is, if you look at SV1 through, I believe, SV9, which is Journey Together, it would say printed in the United States and in Netherlands, because my understanding is the hit cards are printed in the US, They're shipped to the Netherlands where they're printing the commons, uncommons. They're packaging everything for distribution. So with Destined Rivals, I believe the booster boxes were printed solely in the EU, and then with Journey Together, the non-enhanced, I believe, were printed in the Netherlands only. However, with Elite Trainer boxes, for Journey Together, for Destined, and for Black and White, they were all printed in the US. So the US has printed all of the ETBs effectively forever. So fast forward to the conversation back with the Pokemon Company and distro, there was discussion around the US was still printing for the UK and that being migrated to the Netherlands effective somewhere between June and early July of 2025. Now, not a whole lot of context to it, but I believe what we're going to see with Mega Evolutions, and I believe the reason why most of the Black and White ETBs, or the reason why Black and White was printed in the United States, is they were having some issues with some of the print lines. Because if you guys recall, there were some pretty substantial delays with Black and White and also Destined Rivals because of the cutover. But what I believe is going on is they most likely freed up that print line that they were printing full time for the UK for. And it was most likely Elite Trainer boxes. So you take a print facility that was printing Elite Trainer boxes, you migrate that to Europe. So they're now self-sustained with their ETBs and all their other stuff. And keep in mind, with ETBs, not only do they have to print the cards, but they also have to mold the boxes. So it's not as simple as just folding the same grade cardboard. You're laminating things on top of things, and it's a little bit more time consuming. So it's not something that, at least in my opinion, you would do unless you have a line specifically designed to do this, which they obviously do. So again, my theory here is that the print facility that was printing specifically for the UK and primarily Elite Trainer boxes has been migrated to the Netherlands, freeing up print capacity for Elite Trainer boxes. The reason why that is passable to me is if that migrated in June, say mid-June, first week, second week of June, we would have had many months, well, many weeks, so multiple months of printing Prismatic Evolutions to get them to Costco, Sam's. And I think what's interesting is the fact that they've all come out, and now I don't know if this was actually Sam's or Costco, who've come out and given the number of units that they're selling, but it was somewhere like 120,000 or 200,000, which they're not astronomical numbers. So it kind of triangulates to something that would be plausible within the timeline of this story. Also, so it is the one thing that has happened that folks outside of the Pokemon Company know about that is different than in the past that would potentially allow them to print Prismatic ETBs and then further Surging Sparks and Twilight Masquerade ETBs. And if we look at the prices here, I think Surging ETBs, which don't even hit distribution for another 2 weeks. I mean, they've obviously just hit Costco, I believe. They're down from $114, $115. I believe Twilight was about $105. We'll just check this real quick. It was right around 100, 105. So this brings into question, if they're not really printing booster boxes, now they're obviously printing more booster boxes because with Mega Evolutions, there's more coming to market. What are the next ETBs to get reprinted? Now, are they going to do a reprint of SV 1 through 4? Or are they going to reprint 151, Paldean Fates? I think the one thing that this does do, I think for a while, at least in my mind, the concept of reprinting ETBs wasn't something they were doing. So it wasn't really high on the priority list in my mind, or I guess the probability list. But now that they are reprinting ETBs, the question comes down to, well, what's next? Now, I don't think they're going to reprint Pokemon Center ETBs. But, again, there was an interesting video that PokeNE put out that there's nothing to say that they won't reprint them, which is 100% correct. I mean, they have every right to print whatever the fuck they want to because they can. And you're going to buy it, I'm going to buy it, and we're just going to smile. But what I don't quite understand is, why have they gotten away from the booster bundles? Why have they gotten away from the booster boxes? Because those are effectively the most efficient way to get packs into the market, unless they don't necessarily care as much and they're willing to give up volume for incremental profit in advertising, which is the elite trainer boxes, because they can, and all these EX boxes where the margin is effectively 33% higher just through distribution. And again, if they're selling them directly through big box stores, the margins are astronomically higher than distribution. So again, in short, it's going to be super interesting to see what they do, what they reprint next for ETBs. I wouldn't be surprised to see an assload of Destined Rivals ETBs. I did notice, and I didn't pick this up originally, but with Mega Evolutions, it does seem like my allocation of ETBs is a lot higher as a percentage of booster boxes than it was in the past. Now, I don't know if that's a direct correlation to what's going on here. I tend to think it could potentially be, but I just want to put this on everybody's radar because this is clearly a mindset change in the Pokemon Company's reprint strategy that we haven't seen for 18 months. So it's worth noticing or mentioning for sure, and worth mentioning the migration of the line that was used to print for the UK and presumably all the ETBs in Europe, freeing up. And this is what we see. So anyway, guys, let me know what you think. Like the video, subscribe to the channel, join the Discord, and have a great night.